Hello, folks. So I'm going to talk about a little bit more of resources today. This should be a pretty short video for what we're going to be working with as well. So many times it's like what you as a designer or developer, um, work with. In many cases, like there used to be a time when you had to code everything. When it came to websites, so developing different code using HTML, CSS, PHP, ASP, all kinds of different programming languages. You had to do that literally by hand to create any kind of design. But what we have now is this revolution where basically there's a lot of sites out there that will build the thing for you, as well as and I'm going to show you some of the things here. A lot of these sites have a front end and a back end. So which means that the back end actually refers to the actual controls of the site, where you put your copy, where you put your text, all that kind of stuff, all the photos, all those type of things. It's fairly easy for anybody who's a novice to be able to do this, and it's pretty quick. So what I'm going to start with is where it says Squarespace. Squarespace.com is one that actually is pretty useful. I usually don't use it much for my clients, but it is. I've seen it and examples of it, and it does work really well. And there's a lot of them out there. There's like Squarespace. There's Wix.com. There is I think Weebly.com actually is another one. Weebly.com is another one. There's a lot of them out there that will allow you to kind of build a site without having to know much about code in order to actually work with them. Now they do have what these sites usually try to do is they actually have both. They want you to sign up for the domain name and for the hosting. Right, so in a website, there are actually two different areas that run the site. And it is a hosting, which is basically, I like to coin it as the home. Like you're basically, think about it as your phone. So it's like your phone has all your stuff on it, all your pictures, all your notes, all your apps, all that kind of stuff is all within your phone. That can be referred to as hosting. The domain name is how somebody is going to actually get to you. It's like your phone number that's calling your phone. So there are actually two different things here. A lot of these sites, again, like I said, want you to sign up for both the domain name and the hosting. But I don't usually like to do that because I like to sign up my domain names in one place and I like to sign up with my hosting at other places. That way, if something were to happen with the hosting, I can actually go and just switch hosts to a different hosting platform and just tell the domain name where to go. If it were with that company and I want to move companies, then I have to go through the whole turmoil of transferring the domain name to another company, which can sometimes be a pain in the rear. So I like to actually register my domain names through GoDaddy, but there are numerous ones out there that allow you to kind of register a domain name. So it's like if I were to look for something like college design students.com. Let's say we look for that one. And right now it's set up to where it's like $12 for the first year, and then it jumps up to $14, $15 per year after that. So the domain names are actually pretty easy and least expensive to kind of get. Hosting, you have to pay pretty much every month, or sometimes they do a yearly subscription to hosting, which usually costs a little bit more to do. So domain names are actually pretty easy to kind of register, but what I need to do is be able to point it to a particular site. So I usually try and create the site first, and then I'll get the domain name and point it to it. Or I might get the domain name but not point it to it yet until the site's done, and get that all set. Now, one of the most popular management systems out there is actually called WordPress. WordPress is actually a really, really easy type content management system that has a lot of flexibility, a lot of bells and whistles. And you can actually go and sign up at WordPress.com, and you can sign up for, again, just like Weebly and Squarespace and stuff like that. You could sign up for any one of their packages. Like right now, premium is like $8 per month or $96 billed annually. Or if you're getting into e-commerce type stuff, you could actually have it go up there as well. So WordPress actually it's been around for a long time, and it's probably one of the most popular content management systems out there. So now there are two different versions. WordPress.com allows you as a user to sign up. They do all the hosting. You can register a domain name through them, but you don't have to. But it's like you can, it does everything here on this space. Now, if you have your own hosting and you want to have your own platform to actually run WordPress off of, you can. This is WordPress.com. There's actually WordPress.org. WordPress.org will allow you to actually download the software for WordPress and install it onto your own hosting server. So this is where WordPress here is set up. You can download it just by Get WordPress, and what it will do is you can download the latest version of it to use on your own space. So now, what does WordPress look like? Well, I actually use WordPress, and this is kind of like my login for my particular site. So like right here, you can customize it with your own logo, and this is the login backend. So if I hit login, not now, all right, this is a backend for it. So the backend allows you to kind of like create posts if you have any posts. All your pages for your site are all listed here. So if I choose that, you can see all the different pages that I have set up for this. You can choose like basically Yoast SEO. That's an extension to WordPress that helps with your SEO. You can create contact forms. That's basically by installing a content form 7 into the mix. But this backend may change depending on if you have some pre-built templates within it. So like if I were to, let's say I go here, this is actually one of the plugins that allows me to kind of like do a page builder that allows me to kind of like drag and drop and do whatever I want in certain areas. Like here, if I edit that, it allows me to kind of like, here's my heading for it and my subheading for that particular page. I can change it, hit done, and then I'm left to do whatever I want. As long as I hit update here, that will basically set and change the site on the front end. So it's pretty simple content management system that you can utilize for your websites. Now, when I mentioned about templates, like you mentioned, there's actually, if you hear anything that's like in yellow on this, you probably will not see on an average WordPress installation. These things in yellow are actually designated by a template that I actually have, or we call themes. So like right now, I have this one set up as Connectica as my theme for it. But you can see there's actually several of them here that I could utilize if I wanted to, but I didn't. Instead, I actually bought a theme from a site called themeforest.net. It's part of the Envato market. So it's like if I go here, you can see web themes, templates. If I choose WordPress, if I want something a little bit more creative, I can go through here and basically it'll give me some themes that I can actually install. Now, sometimes these actual themes will have this WordPress software already included within it. So all you have to do is upload it and basically go through the installation process of it, which they'll have instructions for it. So if I choose this, and you kind of see that this will give me, if I wanted to see what the live preview looks like for this one, it'll allow me to kind of like see that. So it's like here, let's go ahead and choose this classic Ajax. All right, so this is what the theme actually looks like and how it works. So any of these that I maybe want to use, if this is kind of like what I'm looking for, I can go ahead and hit buy, and it'll just cost $60 to basically download it, or have it installed on your site, and you have a website that you have to change, update some of the content, obviously, create your menus and all that kind of stuff. But it's a pretty easy job to go ahead and do that, especially if you install all the sample files. So, all right, so hopefully that helped you out a little bit to kind of like show you some of the resources that you can utilize in the web world now. Where before we used to have to write code for everything, and it was a pain a lot of times to do that. So now we don't have to do that as much. We can just use a content management system that sometimes you can actually have your client be able to upload or update those themselves. So, all right, so I'm going to stop right there for this, and I hope you have a good day.